Alone Together: Why We Expect More from Technology and Less from Each Other by Turkle. Nurturing tech relationships. Smart network technologies seem to enhance daily life. They provide information conveniently, support people's everyday routines, and make connections quick and easy. People care about their technologies, both the machines and the way they open doors to the online world. Being without internet access can even disrupt family vacations. We have to find a way to live with seductive technology and make it work to our purposes. Connecting by machine, as with texting, allows people to avoid human interaction such as phone calls or face-to-face meetings. Looking at a screen removes the expectations of a human encounter. Despite the texts, emails, and chats that people receive daily, technology is an isolating influence that leaves them lonely. Children and robots. Children often describe interactions with robots in interpersonal language. They imbue robots with independent desires. When a robot turns to look at them, kids believe it's showing interest in them. When children between the ages of 5 and 10 encounter interactive robots, the kids want to turn them into friends. They hope to teach the robots their names and get them to play. In a study observing children's interactions, when a robot named Kismet repeated a child's name, the child often interpreted it as a sign of a preferential relationship. Another robot, called Cog, doesn't speak, so some children proposed that it is deaf or that scientists should give it a mouth because it probably wants to talk to other people, and might want to smile. They try to help robots hug them or dance with them. Technology is seductive when what it offers meets our human vulnerabilities. Brian Scasalati, the roboticist who designed Cog, tried to show children how the robot is more like a puppet than a friend. He shut down its vision monitors so Cog couldn't see. Scasalati gave children the mouse that controls what Cog does with all of its systems running. And yet, when Cog looked at the kids, they talked about Cog as if it were an independent entity with personal preferences, including feeling enjoyment at seeing them. Even when Scasalati showed them that the robot has no will but follows a program designed to focus on the color red, the kids insisted that the robot could try to cultivate its preferences. In another study, children debated the value of a robot babysitter. They say a robot could be a babysitter if it could manage babysitter behavior better than human sitters, such as staying calm in emergencies and having a built-in phone. Babysitter robots would always want to play. Kids welcome robots if they seem kind and loving. A love relationship involves coming to savor the surprises and the rough patches of looking at the world from another's point of view, shaped by history, biology, trauma, and joy. One child whose babysitter left her alone felt that she would get undivided attention from a robot. As children describe what a robot could do, they unwittingly describe their experiences at home. One boy who is happy with his babysitter expressed doubts about robots. He worried that the robot might only do the job of caretaking but not understand the value of fun or of spontaneous treats like ice cream. Some kids worried that a robot couldn't take care of them if they got hurt. Putting on a bandage isn't enough, they say. The robot is only a brain and doesn't have a body and a heart. We love what we nurture. If a Tamagotchi makes you love it and you feel it loves you in return, it is alive enough to be a creature. Older people and robots. Elderly people often become particular in their expectations. They value predictability, but human caregivers are rarely satisfactorily predictable. In contrast, children change ideas and tastes from one visit to the next. In Japan, a robotic fuzzy koala named Wandakin provided comfort to those in elder care homes who are alone and whose families have no time to visit. The robot purrs, sings, and says a few phrases. With a large elderly population and not enough caregivers, Japan turned to robotics to provide attention to people who are otherwise ignored. In a mid-90s pilot program, a 74-year-old man said that while looking into Wandakin's big brown eyes, he fell in love after years of being quite lonely. Networked, we are together, but so lessened are our expectations of each other that we can feel utterly alone. Philosophy and ethics. For a long time, developments in artificial intelligence dwelled on programming. Machines, purported to be like brains, needed appropriate logic and reasoning inputs. Some contemporary roboticists argue that intelligence may require a body but that the body doesn't necessarily have to be a human one. Others maintain that bodies aren't vital to intelligence and that programming rules and the representation of facts allow machines to reveal their intelligence. With the best of intentions, roboticists hope we can use their inventions to practice our relationship skills. Robots that have faces elicit the strongest reactions from people. A face suggests another self, one that people can acknowledge as valuable and independent. Giving a robot a face encourages humans to want it to recognize them. Faces are expressive, and humans read emotions in them. This raises the question of whether emotions are necessary for intelligence. We ask less of people and more of technology. A whole area of effective computing now exists to create machines that respond to the feelings expressed on human faces. The blurring of the line between machines having emotions on the one hand and performing acts indicative of those emotions on the other creates confusion. What is the distinction between someone caring for you and a machine acting as if it does? If the behaviors are the same, do those distinctions matter? Artificial intelligence and therapy. Some argue for the benefit of using artificial intelligence-enabled machines that can give people an opportunity to share their struggles and desires, much like during a psychotherapy session. Joseph Weizenbaum created the ELIZA machine in the mid-1960s. He programmed it to identify certain words that participants typed in and to restate those phrases as questions, mimicking psychotherapy's style of dialogue. The program didn't understand what people were saying, it only knew how to respond. Researchers warned participants who talked to the computer that it didn't understand, and yet most people still wanted to share their thoughts with it. We have moved from multitasking to multi-lifing. The purpose of therapy isn't simply to divulge secrets or receive advice. Therapists engage with their patients and help them learn to negotiate their expectations and to overcome disappointment and needs left over from the past. The work of helping someone gain increased self-understanding occurs through articulating how the patient and therapist both experience the relationship. The act of receiving advice might alter behavior, but it doesn't change the underlying issue. Confessional websites like PostSecret provide an outlet for those troubled by secrets and anxieties. Sometimes simply posting something is enough. On many sites, however, other people respond. Some responses are supportive, while others become aggressive. In online situations like responding to a post, people have no opportunity to discuss and negotiate their anxiety or problems in depth. When people work through their emotions face to face, they have a chance to experience real caring. To those who feel they have no time, connectivity, like robotics, tempts by proposing substitutions through which you can have companionship with convenience. Apologies made on social media or by email aren't like those made in person. Online doesn't provide let you make things right by establishing the empathy at the root of forgiveness. When technology mediates an apology, people lose the visceral interaction that shows sorrow and sincerity. An online apology is so easy that it may suggest no real recognition of harm done. The wounded party doesn't know if the apology is meaningful. Yet social give-and-take attitudes still presume and require forgiveness as the next step. Human interaction suffers, and the relationship's basis disintegrates. Always on but not always present. People are never far from connecting with work, family and friends, but that doesn't mean they're paying attention. Smart tech alters the workplace. People reply to emails and texts from anywhere and seem to put in extra interacting time, whether or not they actually do. When we make a job rote, we are more open to having machines do it. But even when people do it, they and the people they serve feel like machines. People interrupt themselves while working to answer the ping of email and text messages. Even when people realize that this constant connectivity is a distraction from concentrating on larger or long-term tasks, few pause the connection or turn it off. Some work problems are hard and have multiple aspects to consider. Finding an appropriate solution requires sustained thought, but a culture of constant interruption doesn't permit that kind of thinking, to the detriment of the work. These factors make the world seem more complex and overwhelming without providing the time to do anything about that shift. From its very beginnings, artificial intelligence has worked in the space between a mechanical view of people and a psychological, even spiritual, view of machines. Technology makes connecting with friends and family faster and easier, all the time, anytime. Technology offers the illusion of intimacy, but it also allows people to disconnect easily. When normal interpersonal difficulties arise, technology doesn't facilitate the kind of face-to-face attention and interaction needed to reach a resolution. It allows multitasking so that, for example, you can call your grandparents while also answering your emails. This splits attention away from cultivating intimacy and reduces the relationship. Computers and robots, deemed sociable, effective and relational, ask us to feel for and with them. For adolescents, the constant ability to interact with friends or family means a loss of time alone when they could instead cultivate independence and autonomy. Young adults used to find themselves in situations that they had to navigate alone, so they had to learn to be responsible. Now, when they're lost, scared or confused, they can call home from anywhere. Parents guide their children's behavior much later into their children's lives than in previous generations. Parents who give teens phones expect them always to be available. If they don't answer immediately, parental anxiety skyrockets. Paradoxically, even as technology proposes independence, it reinforces the parent-child tie. To be sold on partnership with robots, people need to feel more than comfortable with them. People should want to be around them. Many adolescents text their friends as soon as anything happens. Communicating emotions becomes how young adults process feelings. They become responsible to each other for comfort and for direction in deciding how to feel. When a friend doesn't respond immediately, the sender assumes he or she is angry or that something is wrong. The process of deciding how to feel about a situation comes from validation or collaborative processing. This is quite different from the thought processes of previous generations, who reflected on their lives in private. Choose your tools. Use a little humility to reconsider technology's opportunities and costs. When you prioritize convenience and control, sociable robotics offers easy solutions, though it simplifies what people mean by relationship and intimacy. People who embrace the robot's emotional support are redefining love, which will affect younger generations and the future. When people can't sit still at a funeral and don't care as much about the loss of a loved one as they do about the buzz of their smartphones, they redefine what matters to them as human beings. Tech users may forget the value of being alone and of being present. Technology is a tool, but every new tool doesn't mean progress. People must choose the tools that help them build the future they want. Takeaways. Despite the texts, emails, and chats that seemingly connect people, technology isolates them further. Children find robots appealing companions even when they know programs run them. Even if they are receiving sufficient human bonding, children will attach to robots. When underpaid elder care workers do their tasks in a perfunctory way, robots that offer attention tempt us, but they offer no real connection. Robots with faces elicit the strongest reactions from people. Some argue for using artificial intelligence-enabled machines in therapy because people will share emotions with a machine that offers no judgments. When people work through their emotions with each other, they can experience real caring. Even when people know constant online connectivity distracts them from concentrating on their larger tasks, few are willing to pause or stop the connection. For adolescents, the ability to interact online means a loss of time alone for cultivating independence and autonomy. It is time to reconsider the opportunities and costs of the technologies in your life. Please like, share and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.